No, don't start. Start at 1:30.
So kids are going to school?
No, all virtual.
I'm sorry. Just that. Okay. Let me go. We could come and watch once in a while, but I don't want to stay here.
I can start? Oh, okay. Namaskaram. We're going to make us. We have time?
1 minute.
You tell me when.
I thought I checked it wrong. See 1:30.
Yeah, now.
Okay? Okay. Namaskaram, Vanakkam. Let's do a simple, very simple version of Lord Ganesha who have seen. I hope you all hear me okay, because this is the first time we are doing live like this. We used to do a workshop I'm sure some of you have seen me before doing this. So let's just get started with a small prayer, okay? Om, 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 Vakratunda Mahakaya, Suryakoti Samaprabha, Nirvignam Guru Me Deva, Sarvakareshu Sarvadam. Om. Okay, let's just get started. First, hope you guys have some clay at home, or you can get it from Michael's or Walmart. They have a small pack which is good enough. It's a 2-pound pack, which is good enough to make one Lord Ganesha, or maybe 2 small ones. So first thing you have to do is you have to take a bunch of clay which is almost the size of a baseball or a cricket ball. You can say anything you want. So make this really round and soft, really soft. You have to like really go like you're throwing the ball or a chapati dough, and make it really round and soft. Make it as soft as possible, because this is going to be Lord Ganesha's tummy. Okay, and he has a big tummy, as you all know. So let's just make it like a real big ball. See, I do it for quite some time, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, so it becomes like a soft. The clay is good when it's wet, so you don't need much water when you're doing this, but just keep a small bowl of water, just in case, for handy like this, very little, so that you can touch if it's too dry or something. Mostly when you open the pack, it's pretty good for you to do it. Okay? So once we have this ball, it looks like this, almost like this. So the flatten the bottom portion a little bit, keep the top one nice and round, and flatten the bottom portion using your palm like this. And then place it on a plate at the center. And make sure it's not rolling around, because once it starts rolling around, Lord Ganesha is going to fall apart. So you have to just make sure it sits in the center, nice and flat. So making the bottom flat helps. So use your palm, I repeat, use your palm, and then make it flat and put it in the center of the plate, whatever plate you're going to make Lord Ganesha with. The next step, we're going to take 2 small ping pong ball size clay. If you look at this, I hope you can see and hear me okay on the live session. And this small, like a ping pong ball or a table tennis ball, whatever you want to call it, or a golf ball. And with these 2 balls, we're going to make 2 legs for Lord Ganesha. So we have to start making like a carrot, like thick on the top. This is going to be his thigh, upper thigh, and little bit lean on the bottom, okay? And you have to make 2 of those. Take the another one and make it really round, and start doing like this, like making it in a carrot shape. Not too thin at the bottom, because legs has to be thick, because Lord Ganesha's leg has to be thick. So once you have 2 legs like that, you have to go around this circle and then attach these legs. When you attach, I hope you can see this. Use your pointer finger and then smudge it in really good, so that it attaches nicely. When it's wet, you have to do this. Otherwise, the legs will fall apart. So attach it all the way to the front like this, all around. Even if possible, you can even do it under, so it stays intact until Ganesh Chaturthi this Friday, right? So if you're making it today, it has to stay intact till the festival is over. So take the another leg and make sure you're attaching the other leg from the other side, and both his legs have to be turned away from each other, because that's how Lord Ganesha statues are. If you look at the picture of Lord Ganesha, you can have any Lord Ganesha picture for reference, or a statue for reference when you're making this. That will also really help. For me, just because I've done this a few times, I'm kind of going from my mind. But having a picture or a statue at home really helps you to shape this. So this is how it's going to look like. Once you have the goal body and then 2 legs, and two legs are pointing away from each other like that. Okay, now we need to make Lord Ganesha's head. I'm making a simpler version because this is going to be body and sitting place. So let's take and make, for head you need a little bit more, not as big as his tummy, not as small as his leg, but in between that, like not as big as a baseball or a ping pong ball, small as ping pong ball. Like in between these two sizes, take some clay from it and then start making another round. It's pretty simple. Very similar to what how we made the legs, but leave the head little bit bigger space. Because I find this as the most easiest way to make the trunk and head in one piece. You can either make like this or you can make a trunk separately and attach it. I feel like this is easy and comes out pretty good. And then once you have this carrot shape, you take some more, little bit more of the clay and keep a small circle, make a small circle and keep it aside. And now in this head piece that we made, you have to start making a small hole kind of thing in the back. So what this does is it makes the front face look bigger and you'll have more space to put the ball and make the face look like really like Lord Ganesha face. So what you will do is put this inside and kind of smudge it in. So he has a round head with the trunk like this. If you see it from front, I hope you can see my hand. Let me finish it up and show it very clearly for you guys. Okay, so this is like a really good round shape in the back, and then there is a face right here, and then there is a trunk that comes here like this. So what you have to do is tilt it around because Lord Ganesha's trunk is on the left side for him, and if you're watching me, it's right side for you. Okay, left side for him because his left hand is going to have the laddus. So this trunk goes towards that. So you just have to make sure you place this head on top of the body and then use your thumb or the pointer or both because it really helps. Now you can use a little bit of water if your clay is drying. Don't use too much. Just a tiny touch is good enough because kids tend to put too much water and sometimes it can spoil it. So you just have to nicely smudge and attach the head and give it a good shape. For giving a smooth finish, you can use water for sure. So after you're done, you can do a smooth finish like this. It's gonna really look good. But for now, let's just do this. So it will look like this. It's a very tiny Ganesha, easiest form of Ganesha with a little trunk like this, two legs, head and the trunk. Now what do we have to make? We have to make the ears and hands, 4 hands. Lord Ganesha has 4 hands. So let's just start making the ears. Ears is pretty simple. I keep it pretty simple because for everything you need to make a small ball. Okay, this is very small ball, very much like a little smaller than the leg piece. Make it like really good, nice circle like this. Use both your palms in the center and do it. Like playing with your Play-Doh. It's as simple as that. If you make this and then make it flat. Press it harder in the center of your palm and make it flat. Now, this is a little bit, you gotta watch this. You have to make this in a capital D. D for door, capital D, like this. So it will look like a capital D, like this, the alphabet D. Okay? D for door. Once you make this, this portion is flat. If you look at it, it's gonna be flat. What this makes it makes it easy to attach it if you make a flat edge for the ear. And then at the top, you can just pinch using your pointer and a thumbnail and start making it look like a ear. Even if it drips a little bit here and there, it's okay because it's gonna look pretty natural. And then make it a little bit pointed at the bottom and then start attaching it to Lord Ganesha's face like this. And make sure you're attaching this really good because this is the little thinner portion of the entire body, and when the clay dries up, it could fall apart. So you have to make sure this attaches pretty good. Now let's make the next one. Make a nice little circle, press it hard, and then it's going to be like this, like a mini chapati or something like that. Okay, thick one. And then use your pointer and then press it harder on one side. So it becomes a flat, it gives you a flat edge on one side and then becomes like a capital D, like this. And then on the top, you go pinching like this so that it looks like an elephant ears. And then at the bottom, you start tapering like this. So it kind of looks like elephant ears made out of an alphabet D. So you attach these two nicely. Make sure you use your fingers and smudge it in real good so it doesn't fall apart. Because once the clay is dry, if you don't attach, it is going to fall apart. So make sure you attach it nicely. So if you guys can see this, it's going to look like this. Lord Ganesha is coming to shape now. It's a very simple, smaller version. Like even a 5-year-old can do this. That's why we make it quite simple. And then this is it. Let's start doing the hands. We need another 2 small clay balls, very similar to maybe the ears. So just 2. You can make 2 hands or 4 hands depending on how big yours. I would rather do it 4 the right way, but it's up to you guys because Lord Ganesha is going to be happy anyways and it's going to look good. So let's make 2 carrot shapes for 2 hands first. Because sometimes when kids start doing, the whole Ganesha will be too small and to put 4 hands could become tough. So if that's the case, don't worry about it. Just leave it with 2 hands. It's absolutely okay. So the left hand, you remember left hand for Lord Ganesha has to hold the plate of laddu. So you just have to use your pointer and thumb and bend the tip almost like a bowl so that you can put a tiny little laddu in there. And then attach this under the ears like this nicely. And then you can, now the clay is real wet, so you can even turn the trunk properly and arrange it so that it looks as if he's reaching out for the laddu. So you put this left hand and you can even make a tiny laddu or modak, whatever you want to. I'm just going to do one little tiny modak and put it like small little one with a pointed teardrop shape and then put it right here. So it will be like that. And then I'll show it, lift it up and show it once I attach the other hand. And this hand, right hand, is going to give blessing. So once you have this carrot shape, you just have to imagine it's coming out like this and doing a blessing. So you can even put your hand like that so that you know what you're doing. Just bend it upwards and make it look like it's a blessing hand. All you have to do is this pointer and your thumb and keep pressing so that it looks like a hand shape. That's all it is. If you want, you can even press it here so it kind of shows like a wrist and it will look like a hand giving a blessing. We're going to do some carving on top of it which will give it a more realistic look. But for now, that should be good enough. So we attach everything like this. Use your thumb and pointer. If you need water, just touch a little bit. You don't need too much water because the clay should be wet. When you start, open the box fresh, it should be wet, good enough, because these are air dry clays. It dries with air. So the longer you take, it's gonna dry. So you it's only a 30-minute project if you are doing at home, so you can do it. Okay, this one is like this, blessing hand. So you just have to tilt it up so it looks like this. I'm gonna lift it up and show it to the camera so you guys can look at it. So the left hand is going to hold the laddus, right hand is going to give a blessing. We did 2 ears, the body and 2 legs. And now we have to do 2 more hands which comes from behind. So we take 2 little balls, very similar to how we made the other 2 hands. Not a big difference, just the carrot shape you have to do for both. And I think he holds a shank in one and there is a weapon kind of thing on the other hand. And for that, you have to go behind and do it like this. Like one hand, you can make it look like a shank so that the center is circled and like this. So you just have to use your pointer and your thumbkin and try to see the image that you have at home and try to replicate that. So you go from behind and attach this hand so it kind of looks above his ears. It will show above his ears. So you attach this and let's do the other hand as well, like this. And then you can go behind him and attach. Just be careful of when you're attaching because there's a lot of pieces now. So just smudge it in as much as possible when the clay is wet. Otherwise, it will fall apart. So it's an air dry clay. We're not gluing or we're not going to put it in the oven or anything of that sort. It will dry if you keep it outside. So the more it gets dry, it becomes harder. So if you don't attach it, it's going to fall apart. So this kind of almost is done, except the Lord Ganesha's pet mouse, little mouse. And we have to do something. His tusk. And his right side tusk is broken. And a lot of you know stories about this, why it's broken. If you guys were here, I would have asked this question, you know me. And right side tusk is broken. All you have to do is take a tiny piece and do a small, tiny little stick kind of thing, and which will look like a tooth or a rice shaped one. And then you go in this side, left side and right side one. Just make sure you pinch it a little bit so it looks it's broken. Okay, so smaller than the left side one and it should be broken. That's all you got to make sure. And now you can give it a good shape. And then one more important thing we have to make to finish up this Lord Ganesha is the crown. Crown you can make as you want to. I'm going to tell you the simpler version. There were a lot of kids who did like very creative ones. You can go as creative as you want to, but this is more a very simple version which you can try at home. You just have to make a small flat circle, make a good circle ball and then flatten it like the way we did the ears, nicely thick. And then instead of doing a D like this, you just go under and make the bottom portion flat and then start doing like a teardrop shape like this. I call this a teardrop or a crown shape. So it's pretty much like a diamond or pointed head and a flat bottom. That's all it is. So it looks like a crown. If you place it on top of his head and smudge it in, it's gonna look like a crown. Before we start carving out designs, I'm gonna show you how to make Lord Ganesha's pet, the mouse. Mouse is probably the simplest and cutest of all that we're going to make. Take a tiny little ball of clay and make it nice and soft, round like this. Use both your hands and get your hands dirty, otherwise you can't make Lord Ganesha. And hold this using your thumb and the right. If you're a right-hander, hold it in your right. If you're a left-hander, hold it in your left. Whatever hand is comfortable for holding it tight. And then once you hold it tight, just bring both your fingers together so it can kind of pressing it harder. So you can hold it like this and press it harder. Hold it like this, press it harder. So it kind of gives you this mouse mouth shape, and then there is a small edge at both sides if you look at it. And you just have to pinch a little bit on each side. So it looks like a ears for the mouse and there is a pointed mouth for the mouse. That's all it is. And then we just have to make a tiny little tail for him and then put it for him like this, like a tiny little tail. I hope you can see this, it's really tiny. You can just look at it, it looks so cute and nice. Okay, we are going to use very organic stuff because we are using clay, and it's good that way. I'm not a huge fan of putting colored clays into this, but it's up to you, entirely up to you how you want to do it. I'm going to use black peppers for the eyes for Lord Ganesha and as well as for the mouse. So now I'm going to help you carve everything. You can use you get carving sticks, or you can use this regular grill sticks that you have it in your mom's kitchen. You can just take that and you can hold it like this. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw his eyes. If you look at Lord Ganesha's picture, you kind of see his eyebrows are really curved on top, like a elephant eyes, literally like an elephant eyes. So you go really high like that. The minute you put that, it kind of gives you that elephant Lord Ganesha look. Just put a little tiny hole so that you can place it will look like a eyes already. You don't even need to put a pepper if you don't want to, but it gives a good look if you put a black one there. And then start making designs. I just put like little lines to look more natural in his trunk. And then I put like whatever you want to put. I put like three tilak. If you want to put Om there, you can do Om. I'm so used to doing this, so I'm just doing that. I hope you can see all these clearly. I'm just going to bring it closer after I'm done. Here you can do any design you want. You can go creative. I just go random. I put a sun here in the center of the crown because that kind of looks really good for most part. And you can even put glitter, nail polish, whatever you want. My daughter does a lot of glitter nail polish on her Lord Ganesha, so it's up to you. I'm just going to carve a simple design here. So it looks like a crown, and then like that. See, that gives a look. It really helps if you have this grill sticks instead of the carving sticks. Sometimes carving sticks doesn't have this pointed edge. This pointed edge, for me it works. Depends on each individual. Some people feel like the carving stick has better grip. And I'm just going to do some lines for the ears so it looks like realistic. And then fingers on his hand. You can do whatever you want. It's up to you. I can even put dress designs here, like a necklace. And a snake around his tummy, which you'll see in all the Ganesha pictures. You can keep Lord Ganesha statue for reference at home and then start doing any creative stuff you want to do. You can put jewelries for him. I'm just doing simple lines so that you know this is how you do it. Okay, even you can put some designs here, and you can make a tiny little umbrella. You can even carve face for the mouse. Just put a little line for his mouth and then little C-shaped thing so that you know that's where his legs are folded up. So like that. And now last but not the least, let's put the eyes for the mouse. See how it looks for the minute you put eyes. So I use the black peppercorn from the kitchen. So you can use that too, or if you have anything like a bindi, some people use bindis, it's up to you guys. So I like using pepper because it's right size. You don't have to worry about being too big. So I'm going to put Lord Ganesha also with that. So it kind of fits inside the hole that we made. So this is how it looks. I hope you can all see it. If you have more extra clay, you can make a bowl full of laddu, whatever. You just feel free and be creative. And let me bring it in the front so that you guys can see this clearly. I hope this is clear. If you see, first we made a ball for the body, and then we did 2 legs, and then 2 hands, 4 hands. Then we made the head with the ears and the crown and a cute little mouse. That's pretty much it. Thank you very much.